Hey guys, Gus and I are back working on the engine that we're going to put in my 1959 Jeep CJ5. We've got a Kubota V2203 engine. It came out of a reefer unit, and we're setting it up using the Overland diesel conversion kit to bolt up to the Jeep transmission. Follow along while we make some progress on this thing, getting it ready to be installed in the Jeep. Thanks for watching. Continuing on with the modification that we need to do to the oil breather cap for the engine. I tried using the rivet squeezers to squeeze the rivet. It's a aircraft solid rivet, and it's not being the most cooperative in the world. Just to get straight on the inside and the outside, you end up having to kind of cock the tool off to one side, and it just bends the rivet off to the side. So what I'm going to try doing is, I got it sitting in the vise here with the rivet solid down against the vise jaw. We'll take a punch and see if we can tap that beast to flare it out a little bit so that it holds tight. And the whole purpose of this modification, there's supposed to be a bellows in here for a normally aspirated engine, but with us turbocharging, we've got to leave this open, and basically that would be a dirt entry point into the engine without any filtration if we left that open. So let me get a punch, and we'll see if we can convince this thing to behave itself. Absolutely positively, if that was on an airplane, I would not keep that. I would drill it out, but I think that is blocking our hole perfectly here. Not the prettiest in the world, but it'll do. Okay, let's get this mounted back on the engine. Now that we've got that breather modification sorted out, we need to figure out our valve cover gasket. Kind of sort of looks like it should go in something like that. They don't really, shall we say, give us very good instructions on how this is supposed to go in, so we'll do the best we can. Seems to be lining up for the most part. This is a new seal that I picked up off of, I think I got it off eBay. It seems to lay in there not too bad. Okay, that one easy. Let's get this bolted down to the engine. Here are the shoulder bolts for that valve cover. You can kind of see the underside of them here. And I took them to the wire wheel, kind of cleaned them up a little bit, and hit them with the little bit of black spray paint. Let things dry up here. Seems like a good drying evening. And I even managed to avoid my little helper when I was doing the spray painting. I think we're going to have to put a little bit of never seize on these bolts though. Keeping in mind that the original valve cover, was it this one or back here? One of those, anyways, one of the tabs rotted right off and split out. So I think I'm going to put some never seize on there, on the threads and on the shoulder that lines everything up, so that we don't get any more of that happening. I think the next thing I need to clean up and get some paint on is going to be the return line. This goes over the top of all the injectors and provides a return path for any excess fuel that the injectors don't require. I don't think you guys need to watch me doing that. I will clean those up and splash a little bit of paint on them and bring you back. Hopefully we can continue doing some assembly when things are dried up here a little bit. While I was throwing some paint on things, I touched up the replacement thermostat housing that has the fitting on it for the heater core. I don't think I want to put this on just yet. I don't have the fitting to go here. The heater core that's in the Jeep is crap. And of course we'll have to have some kind of block off on that when we go to install it. Plus I don't have a new thermostat yet. So we'll get those parts in and we'll do this installation when we go to do the get the heater functional in the Jeep itself. I also touched up the top, and we got some fresh paint on the overflow for the injectors. I've got some anti-seize compound. It's not Never Seize brand, so can't call it Never Seize, but anti-seize compound that we're going to put on these valve cover bolts. They're just sitting in the holes right now. They're not tightened. Let me put you guys on a stand so that I can use both hands, and I'll show you what my plan is. The main trick with this anti-seize compound is a little goes a long ways, and you don't want to get it all over absolutely everything, because it tends to get on the furniture in the house when you do that. That is a good start. The barrel of this shoulder bolt, definitely don't want it rusting, and with the small diameter of that threaded part, I'm guessing that these are fairly easy to break off when they get a little bit of corrosion happening. You guys get the idea. You don't need to watch me putting Never Seize on 10 bolts. Bring you back when I've got it bolted down. Well guys, the sunlight is starting to fade on me here. We've got a few things attached. We've got the overflow, with the valve cover. We finished the modification on the breather cap. All in all, not bad progress for an hour or so worth of work. I got some paint on the nuts that hold the diesel shutoff solenoid in place, and we're making a little bit more progress getting this thing reassembled. I don't know how much farther I'm going to get in this video, but I'm hoping to get a bunch of work done on the weekend. So I'll bring you back then and we'll see where we get to. Well, we've got the top layer of the grunge peeled off here with a wire brush, and now I think it's time to take this into the garage, fire up the laser, and see if we can get it peeled down to bare cast iron, and then throw some paint on it. I'm going to try to avoid these mating surfaces. We'll clean that up with some Scotch-Brite and some WD-40 or something, but the raw cast cleans up really nice with the laser, because a little bit of texture on there. It's already got texture, so it's not a problem. Let me get this set up in the garage. I don't think I'm going to film any of this. I got lots of videos running the laser welder. I'll bring you guys back probably part way through, and we'll see what it looks like. Well guys, what do you think? That took me about an hour to get the inside and outside cleaned up. It's not absolutely perfect, but close enough. It'll take some paint. It's mostly baked down to the bare cast iron, so I don't think that that's going to be a problem. Boy oh boy, put a little bit of heat into this thing, and boy did it curl up like a banana. The one end was still attached with a bolt. This end was curled up a good inch. Flipped it over, put a little heat in the back, and it flattened right back out again. So perfect. Let me drizzle a little bit of paint on this. Now this is the big question. I bought gray paint, the same as the Kubota engine, to put on there, but originally it was black, and transfer case and transmission are probably black as well, although under tons of grease and grime and what have you. So I think what I'm going to do is give it a coat of that semi-gloss black that I've got. I think I've got enough of that left to do, and that way it's kind of almost original, and black contrasting with the light gray should look pretty good. Let me take care of that, and I'll bring you guys back, show you how we made out. Let's get the outside dusted on. We'll let that dry, and then we'll flip it over and do the inside. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, let's let Mother Nature do its thing. Well guys, there we are. That's our bell housing. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. That laser does a really nice job of cleaning up the cast iron, getting it right down all of the rough rust out of the pores. Leaves a bit of a rough finish on there, but that's okay. Looks good. That's got that job taken care of, but I do have one more that I want to get done today before we run out of daylight. We need to take about 1/8 of an inch out of the diameter, or make this 1/8 of an inch larger on the exhaust manifold so that it matches the turbo. Let me get this off. I just have it on with a couple of nuts, and we'll get it over on the table and figure out what we got to do. Here we've got a genuine Kubota exhaust gasket. Just took it out of the bag. And you can see better than 1/8 of an inch that we're going to have to take out all the way around. And over here we have the turbo. And you can see that it matches pretty close to the diameter of the gasket. Let me put you on a stand. We'll take the scribe and we'll see if we can put a line all the way around that we're going to be able to follow with the die grinder. Hi Gus, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Having fun? Chasing bugs and sticks and all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, kind of centered on there. Let's see how this does. Well, it gives us something to work with. I'll dig up a carbide burr and a die grinder and we'll start working that around. It should go fairly easily. I don't think the cast iron's all that difficult to work on here. Too bad. I don't want to get too make the wall too thin on this end, so I haven't gotten too crazy. I did kind of put a bit of a taper on it out so that it matches up to the gasket, and you probably saw me go at the insides of the other exhaust ports here. You know, not really doing too much to massage them, just taking the rough casting down. They're pretty pebbly on the inside, I guess would be a good way to put it. And the die grinders definitely cleaned that up a little bit. You know, get another 100th of a horsepower out of this thing. Definitely, I would say we've done a decent enough job of gasket matching that this should flow into the turbocharger without too much trouble now. Very good. The next item that's going to need some modification is the intake manifold. We need the grid heater assembly off of here, and we cut this off basically flush with the number 4 cylinder, and then we take this throat assembly and weld it to the top of the manifold so that it heads towards the turbo. But first step is we're going to get it apart. As you can see, I broke off this bolt when we tried taking it off. I suspect this one's probably going to be just as bad, and I put the ratchet on one of these, and yeah, it put up a fight too. So I don't know what kind of luck we're going to have here. Yeah. Well, let's put a little bit of heat on here and see what happens. There we go. And you can see there's a little bit of corrosion in there. Here's our grid heater. This engine doesn't employ glow plugs, it employs grid heater. This heats up, and as the air comes through the intake tract, it warms up and helps the engine start in cold temperatures. I don't know how much use this thing is going to get in cold temperatures, because it is kind of a toy after all. But hey, it doesn't have air conditioning, but it does have a heater, so yeah, maybe. There's our intake gasket. And now what I need to do is, I was going to try and cut this back as flush to the port. Looking at the inside of it, the port kind of goes down around the corner. So basically we're going to have to cut it off kind of in this area here, so that we've got a nice uniform, down the throat here, so that we've got a nice uniform piece, or nice uniform circumference that we can weld that plug into. Okay, well, let me take this over to the bandsaw. I'm not going to drag the camera in there, but let me take this over to the bandsaw and see if I can get that buzzed off. Well, here we go with the end cap. That's not welded in, it's just pushed in. It's a nice tight fit. That'll have it cleaned up, and I don't know, I might try welding it with the TIG myself, see if I can do it. I haven't really got a whole lot of experience welding aluminum with TIG welder, but I do have a couple of projects that I need to do, so that, or maybe we'll give the laser a try. Try doing kind of like almost like oxyacetylene. Somebody's being a hooligan back here. You got to check this out. Excuse me, mister. That is not something you were supposed to be chewing on. That doesn't stop you from doing it though, does it? The other option is to, I've got a neighbor that's supposedly a pretty good aluminum welder. Maybe I'll take it over to him, keep the business in the neighborhood. Don't know the guy, but good excuse to get to meet him. So, this piece will have to get modified and attached to the top here somehow. Fish mouthed, or however we're going to put it on here. Haven't figured that part out, and when I had everything mocked up, the whole purpose of mocking it up was to figure out where this was going to lie, and quite honestly I forgot to do that. I was kind of excited seeing the turbo up in place, so we can figure that out as well. Obviously this is going to need a very good cleanup before we go to put it back in service. There's the grid heater completely separated from the manifold. Should do the job. But somebody is being a brat. I think he is probably wanting to go for a walk, and that is probably going to take the rest of my evening here. We're starting to lose daylight, so I will shut it down here. Thanks a lot for stopping by, guys, and if you got this far, give me a thumb up, give me one of those like things, and we'll catch you guys in the next mess. Thanks for watching.